Hey y'all, it's Katie. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today we're doing the OMG This Song book tag. This tag was started by Kate's book date, and I'll have the original link down below. Her name is also Katie, just proof that it's a good name. So basically, the way this one works is there's kind of like a topic for each thing, and then I have to pick a song that matches the topic, and then a book that also matches the topic. So clearly the song I picked for this question is For the First Time by The Script. I love this song. I could listen to it on a loop for the rest of my life and never get sick of it. Like, it's just that one for me. And then for the book that I'll never get sick of, it's The Last Olympian by Riordan. I've been reading The Last Olympian for years. I've read fanfics where the characters read The Last Olympian for years. Like, I just have read that book so many times, and I know that I'm going to continue to read it, continue to want to read it. Like, I just started taking Russian this year, so I bought The Last Olympian in Russian. When I'm fluent, I'm going to read that. Like, I'm going to read that book all the time, and I'm never going to stop. Question number 2 is Throwback, a song that reminds you of the cringiest time of your life, and a book that also reminds you of this time, or just something you wouldn't like as much now if you picked it up for the first time. So for this throwback cringiest time, of course, it was middle school. Middle school was the worst. I'd really like to pretend that middle school never happened, and if we could burn also all of the yearbooks from that time, that would be fabulous. And along with this time, I picked Down by Jay Sean featuring Lil Wayne, because even though I love this song, it's just, this is the song of that time. Like, if I hear this, I'm in 7th grade again. That's where I go. And then for the book that also reminds me of this time, I picked Evermore and basically that whole series. I think there are 6 of them by Alyson Noel. I was so into this series at the time. Like, I just thought it was the greatest thing. The plot was so, like, interesting and unique, and I was like, oh, these characters are so cool. And then, like, 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I should reread these, because I was telling my friend, like, oh, these are so great, you should read them. And so I went, and I could not get through the first one, because it's so awful. So awful. Like, what? How did I like that? Number 3 is Replay, a recent song you have on repeat right now, and a recent favorite book. So for the recent song I have on repeat right now, I have Eyes Closed by Halsey. This is her 2nd single off of her upcoming album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, and I'm super excited because I love Halsey. Like, I love her a lot. I think her voice is beautiful, and I think her music is just fabulous. I love her lyrics more than anything, and she said that she loves this album so much more than the first one, and I'm obsessed with the first one, so, like, I'm super hyped for this album. And then for a recent favorite book, I have The Wrath and the Dawn and the Rose and the Dagger, which you guys know I just read recently, and I'm just still so excited. Like, I was at work last night just thinking about them, and somebody asked me a question, and I was like, I'm sorry, like, my brain is busy right now. So I couldn't pick for the song between those two. They are both two that I'm just really, really obsessed with, and I don't know what it is, because it's not that they particularly pertain to my life exactly. Like, I can relate to a lot of elements of both of them, but, like, I'm not in the Hunger Games, and I have not recently broken up with someone in my hometown, but, like, they're just both really get to me. Like, I just listen to them all the time, and I just love them, and for some reason, like, I just, like, when you feel that, like, when you listen to a song, like, that's me with both of those. So, those songs are me. Real talk, though, I had to work so hard to not just do This Is Me, like, from Camp Rock, because, like, it says this song is me, so be proud. And then for This Book Is Me in book form, I picked The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. I just love this book so much. I have never connected with the book so quickly and just loved a story so much. I thought it was so perfect. Like, so perfect. I reread it all the time. I love this. I love the characters. I think everything about the way it's written is exactly perfect. It's very real. Like, I love this book. Like, that is the book that I am because I love it so much. Number 5 is What? It's kind of weird, but I like it. So for this one, I don't know, there are no songs that I love that really strike me as, like, weird. So I put this one for more unique just because I know, like, a lot of my friends don't like it, I guess. So that's Savior by Rise Against, which I love. Like, I just love songs that are full of angst because I am such an angsty person. And then for a unique book that stuck out to you for whatever reason, I picked Panic by Lauren Oliver. Again, this book isn't, like, super weird, but it's just something very different from, like, things that I had previously read, in that it kind of had, like, the fierce competition, weird, high-stakes type stuff, but in a normal setting instead of something more dystopian or futuristic. Like, it was, I don't know, I just thought it was very interesting. It was a new idea. Of course, like, I read this, like, right before Nerve came out, so then it was like, oh, like, this is very similar, but also, like, I really enjoyed it. Number 6 is Let's Go, the best pump-up song for workouts or just life, and a book that inspired you.
Dying children hurt and hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? Would you turn the other cheek? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. I won't hesitate no more, it cannot wait. I'm your lipstick stains on the front of my left side brains. I knew I wouldn't forget you if I could, then I would. I'd go wherever you will. And can you feel the love tonight? Nobody wants to see us together, but it don't matter, no. I got you. Take me home to the place I belong. I'm the biggest fan, I'll follow you until you love me.
So for this one, this isn't really like a high-paced song. Like, I do have a lot of those that I do like. Most of them are like rock ones with like a little bit of Kelly Clarkson and a little bit of Disney thrown in. But like my best like life pump-up song is this one. It's called 4 Chords. It's by The Axis of Awesome, and it's just like this huge like 4 or 5 minute long mashup of all these popular songs from like the past 10 or 15 years, and I really love it a lot. Like, it's one of my favorite things. And then for a book that inspired you, I put Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I think I read this book like exactly when I needed it in my life. I think it was like sophomore, junior year of high school, and it was just like, I don't even know. I was just having a rough time, and my friend Jordan was like, oh, like, you have to read this book, and I was in the middle of a huge reading slump, but I was like, okay, like, whatever, I'll check it out, because you think it's so great, and like, she has really good taste. So then I did read it, and it was just so good. Like, we never get like actual nerdy protagonists. We get like nerdy ones, but that just means that they're like model gorgeous and also have a brain. Not that I don't love that. I think we need more of that, but like, also please give me like the real, really like nerdy, stereotypical nerds that I can relate to, as well as the ones that defy the stereotypes. Like, I like both of those things. And then like the main character in Fangirl like writes all this fan fiction, and this was at a time when I read a bunch of fanfic, but like I thought it was so lame and like try to keep it on the DL. But I read this and I was like, you know, like I'll start my own fanfic, and then I did, and like I kind of got like a pretty large fan base for my first one, and it ended up going really well, and it just kind of like inspired me as a writer. And like now, like I just talk about fanfiction all the time. Like I'm in college, and somebody will be like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm reading this fanfic. Like, it's super lame, but like I just really don't care. So I think that like this book did a lot for me in that aspect. Next up we have Chill, your fave, chill, relaxing song, and a book you'd curl up with and read on a rainy day.
I got high hopes. It takes me back to when we started. High hopes. When you let it go out and start again. High hopes. When it all comes to an end, the world keeps spinning.
So for my fave, chill, or relaxing song, I have High Hopes by Kodaline. I really love this song because whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood or like neutral, like you can just listen to it and enjoy it. Like, it can be hopeful if you're upset. It can be just like calming if you're happy. Like, it's just a really great song, and it's like so nice after like a long day to just put on and be like, okay, like, the world is good. I'm really sorry the lighting keeps, like, fluctuating. The sun is just trying me right now, and, like, with the trees and stuff, it's just not a good deal. And then for the book I'd curl up with and read on a rainy day, I have My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. I'm pretty sure I actually have read this book on a literal rainy day. I don't know, man, whenever it's, like, raining outside, I am just in the mood for contemporaries. It's like when I'm sick, I want to read fantasy, but, like, if it's raining, I need some contemporary in my life. Number 8 is Addicting, a guilty pleasure song, one that's catchy and addicting, but not a whole lot of substance, and a guilty pleasure, trashy, fast or light read. Okay, we can call this my guilty pleasure song, but, like, just know I'm not guilty about it. I love it unconditionally. That's 1985 by Bowling for Soup, and I love this song. It's so fun. Like, when it comes on, my mood elevates 3,000%. It's so fun and great, and even though I totally can't relate to it, obviously, because I was not alive in 1985, especially not before it, like, I cannot relate to any of the concepts that the song is trying to talk about. It's so irrelevant to my life, but, like, it's so good and fun, and I just love it, and I love, like, the enthusiasm and the fun in it, and, like, it's just so great to say. And then for my guilty pleasure, trashy, fast, light read, I, of course, have Twilight and the whole Twilight series, saga. Twilight is so problematic, and, like, now, I can acknowledge that, like, when I read them, when I think about them, there are lots of problems with those books. But I love them. Like, I love them. I'm never gonna not love them. They were, like, such a foundational part of my childhood. I can't not love Twilight, even though I'm like, wow, half of these characters are so annoying, and, like, I was so hardcore Team Edward, and now I like Jacob more, but, like, not with Bella. Like, I just don't feel like they should go together, but I like Jacob better. But I'm always gonna love Twilight. I can't stop myself. Last but not least, we have number 9, Nostalgia, a throwback that you look back on fondly, and a book that you read forever ago that you look back on fondly, or reminds you of a happy childhood time.
Promise me this, that you'll stand by me forever, but if God forbid fate should step in and force us into a goodbye, if you have children someday, when they point to the pictures, please tell them my name. Tell them how the cross went wild. Tell them how I hope they shine. Long live the walls we crashed through. I had to tell them my life with you. Long live the walls we crashed through. Wanna keep the lights shine just for me and you. And let us meet. Long live all the magic we made. And bring on all the pretenders. I'm not afraid.
Honestly, I, like, can't listen to that song without crying. So for throwback you look on fondly, I have Long Live by Taylor Swift. I always love this song. And it's just, like, so meaningful. Like, just the song alone is enough to make me cry. But then, like, on the day of graduation, I was like, oh, like, this is so appropriate. Let me listen to it. Like, I listened to it. And then, like, we went on, like, a beach trip, me and, like, a bunch of my friends on the last day before we all left. Because, like, 2 of us were going out of state for college. And everyone else was kind of just going to be all over Florida. And, like, it was, like, our last day together. And then we listened to this because my one friend and I really love Taylor Swift. And one of them does not, but we were like, you have to hear the song because it's appropriate. And so we played it, and, like, I don't know, now I listen to it and I think of both of those days, and it makes me, like, really, like, sad and happy and nostalgic, you know, like, all the feelings just kind of welling up. And then for a book you read forever ago that you look back on fondly or reminds you of a happy childhood time, I have the Artemis Fowl series. Artemis Fowl was kind of just, like, I don't know, at the time when most of the books I read, like, had happy endings, like, this is the Twilight era, and, like, also Harry Potter, which obviously there's a lot of death in, but just, like, I feel like substantially less than in some of the more modern series that we are reading a lot now. But, like, Artemis Fowl was just kind of like that time where characters just didn't die, and if they did, they came back to life always. Like, there was just no question. You never worried about it. Like, you knew that everything was going to be okay, and you were just reading for the adventure. And, like, the Artemis Fowl series was just so fun, and it was, like, the first one about magic in, like, a different setting other than, like, wizardry. Like, it was just, like, straight, pure magic kind of going on, and, like, the first time I saw, like, a brilliant and introverted, like, protagonist, and, like, it was just such a wonderful read, and it just, like, I think of them, and I think of that, I think of all, like, the adventures throughout the books, and it's just such a, like, a happy time, and, like, I was so young when I read them, and it's just like, oh, like, this is so nice to think about. Obviously, that does not include the last Artemis Fowl book, of which we shall not speak momentarily, because I'm not trying to cry in the middle of this tag video, but, like, you know. That is it for the OMG This Songbook tag. Thanks so much to Casebook Date for making this. I had so much fun filming it. Let me know if y'all agree or disagree with me on any of these. Have a good one, y'all.